Mike Bodette, who is standing by with a special guest. Mike?
That's right, Ak and Sarah. We've been listening to the sad stories about the victims' families, and before that, we also heard from the FBI and other officials. And joining me now is retired special agent and bomb technician Kevin Miles with the FBI. Kevin, we had the special agent in charge, Rick Delorier, confirming that it appears that this is possibly pressure cooker bombs that included BBs and nails. That's consistent with what we heard from the doctors earlier today at the various hospitals. When you hear about that as a retired bomb technician, what does that tell you about this attack?
It's important to remember that while the pressure cooker angle is significant, in light of the fact that they have been seen in certain parts of the world, as a bomb technician, to me, the pressure cooker is merely a receptacle for the explosives. Okay, there's a possibility here that the explosive filler for these devices is going to be what's called a low explosive, a powder. And in order for those explosives to function as an explosive, they have to be confined in a metal container or some sort of a container to create pressure. And in this particular instance, pressure cooker was used. Is it significant? Probably, but it is also can be just as something lying around the house that this person happened to use to contain his explosive charge.
And without jumping to conclusions, though, you do say these are types of bombs that we've seen in other parts of the world. Where have we seen them?
They have been seen in Afghanistan and in Pakistan. During my first deployment to Afghanistan, I did actually process a scene involving a pressure cooker. But again, it is merely a container for the explosive charge. Nothing more than that. It actually puts forth shrapnel in addition to the nails and the ball bearings that were used. It's just more bang for the buck.
Is that the MO that you usually see with the pressure cookers, that the nails and the ball bearings are included inside there?
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't need them. Pressure cooker itself, upon detonation, will have numerous metal fragments coming out. You really don't need more, but in this case, this person wanted to kill as many and wound as many people as he possibly could, so he added the nails and the ball bearings.
And we've seen the carnage on our streets of Boston. What happened? 3 dead, nearly 200 injured.
Correct.
How powerful are these devices?
Depends on how close you're standing to them. The people who were most seriously wounded and killed were obviously standing closest to the device. The people that were less seriously wounded were shielded by the crowd. That happens a lot in other parts of the world, where suicide bombers, for example, will walk up into a crowd and set themselves off. But because there's so many people surrounding the person, you won't get as many people killed. But they can be very powerful, and in this case, it was proven.
The FBI Special Agent Rick Delorier also talking about the possibility that these pressure cooker bombs were carried in dark nylon bags or backpacks. How cumbersome would something like this potentially be?
I've seen some pressure cookers that can weigh up to 10 pounds. But remember, you're at the finish line of the Boston Marathon. A person carrying 1 or 2 backpacks, even if they're heavy, will not arouse any suspicion whatsoever. Because everybody's carrying a backpack. Even the people who are at the finish line waiting for their loved ones to come by were probably carrying their backpacks to give to them. So the mere fact that he's carrying a pressure cooker, no one will probably notice.
Let's tap into your expertise in the FBI as a bomb technician. We're hearing the investigators out there tonight asking for the public's help. What specifically are they doing at that crime scene? They've cordoned off that area of Copley Square. They're calling it an active crime scene. What are they doing?
Well, there's 2 of them. There's 2 actual crime scenes. You've got the FBI, the ATF, the Mass State Police, Boston PD, and all of their bomb technicians and crime scene investigators. They're processing that scene. One thing to remember, there is no such thing as vaporization. Many people think that once a bomb explodes, all the evidence inside, the componentry, the batteries, or whatever, disappear in a blinding flash of light. That does not happen. In real life, that material is out there. They just have to recognize it, collect it, and document it. And the crime scenes will be worked.
And we're talking about what? Fragments of pieces of this bomb that have to be put together?
You'll see, you saw what the explosions looked like yesterday. Even those violent, deadly explosions, the evidence is still out there laying on the ground, and it probably been picked up already. All right? It's out there, it's in small pieces, but it's out there someplace.
And so once those investigators gather all this forensic evidence, what do they do with it?
They will send it to a lab. either the FBI or the ATF lab, and at that point the labs will put the device back together again. They'll do all the forensic examinations, they'll do fingerprints, they'll do hairs and fibers, they'll do trace evidence, tape, and everything will be collected and documented and put back together again.
Are there certain things that may be found as they place all this together that could point them toward a certain person, a certain group, a certain place where this might have come from?
That's called a signature, and you have to have at least one bombing to establish a signature. They may find something in these devices that is unique, a unique wire splice, a unique way of connecting items together using tape or things like that, and that'll lead them towards a suspect later on. But the problem with a signature is this is the first bombing of this kind. Unless you get another one sometime, it may be difficult to find.
In watching the press conference, I was struck by the FBI Special Agent Delorier really pressing the public for any information. Has anyone in your workplace talked about the Boston Marathon, talked about threats, talked about anything? It seemed like they're really reaching for something here. I mean, are they at a dead end?
That I don't know. I'm 2 months removed from the Bureau right now, and my modus operandi, my policy was never to bother agents or police officers at the scene that I'm not at. I do not know what's going on investigatively. I know what's going on at the post-blast crime scene because I've done thousands of them, but investigatively, I'm sure they're working very hard. The JTTF is leading the investigation. They'll come to fruition, I'm sure. And
absolutely, we know they're working hard, but it seems like they want something else. They want some more bit of information.
Somebody out there may know something that they don't think they know, all right? And it's important for the public to call in with any kind of clue that they might have, however inane it may be.
I want to ask you about the Boston Globe reporting that a circuit board was found in that area. What does that tell you?
Well, it might be a tendency to glom onto that pretty quickly as it applies to a remote control device, a cell phone IED. Keep in mind, those cell phone IEDs, remote control IEDs as a whole, are very rare in this country. Not other places in the world where they're actually quite common, but here in the U.S. they're few and far between. I think I may have seen 5 in 30 years. If that's the case, and it turns out to be an actual RC portion of a device, that would be a significant incident. However, you have to realize that everybody has cell phones now, and that particular component may belong to a victim whose cell phone was destroyed in the explosions.
So we don't want to jump to conclusions.
Absolutely not. No, don't jump to conclusions yet. It may be, it may not be anything.
But let's just, play this out a little here. If in fact it is confirmed that this circuit board is somehow connected, what would that potentially mean? That they had a remote control device to activate these bombs?
Yes, and that would also tend to indicate that the level of sophistication is quite more advanced than normal in the U.S., okay, because of the fact that we very rarely have these.
And when you say you've seen them only a handful of times in the United States?
Yes.
So what type of potential group? I mean, we're not, if you see that, if there's this connection there, then it becomes a group that has more sophisticated information?
Not necessarily. The 4 or 5 times I've seen them in the U.S. have all been one guy on his own, no group affiliation whatsoever. All right? He just happened to know something about electronics and how to use a cell phone or a walkie-talkie to set off an IED. That's all it is.
So going forward now, we've gotten 2 press briefings today from the officials. We know they're working hard at that crime scene. We know they're searching for information from the public, from your line of expertise, the bomb line of expertise. That work will continue for how long?
Could be months. Could be months. Could be years in the case of Kaczynski and George Metesky. My hunch, though, is the crime scene teams out there and the bomb technicians out there right now are all very good at what they do. They're all full-time bomb technicians or crime scene investigators. They will work this scene. They'll collect the evidence, and I'm not going to worry about any kind of an arrest. It'll happen.
All right. We hope it does. Retired FBI Special Agent Bomb Technician Kevin Miles, thank you so much for your insight.
My pleasure.
Sarah Knock, over to you.
All right, Mike, thank you.